No. What I'm saying is I'm going to upload this on YouTube as well for just for massive distribution purposes. So, yeah. We call it a podcast. What I'm saying is, yeah. Oh, what's up, Peter? How do you have that background? How did you do? Is that a Zoom function or what? What? How do you do? Yo, okay, dude. Okay, dude. If you're gonna do that, bro, this podcast is also a YouTube cast. It's gonna, dude. The fact that we're gonna make it a video as well, it just, dude, our shit's gonna go everywhere. Okay, first things first. First things first. You gotta help me come up with a name for the podcast. I mean, the most basic one would be the Autism Show or the Autism Podcast, right? But so you need to help me figure out a name. What we're gonna call this? Okay, keep throwing out ideas while I keep throwing out ideas while I try to capture your screen right here. Hold on. Ah, the triple A. I like the triple A, dude. I like that, dude. Okay, we keep going though. Keep going, cause yo, is this a function of Zoom that can knock out the background like that? I heard they could do it. I've never seen it in action. It's pretty fucking amazing. Like how, dude, the tech. No. It's not even like, oh, like you're like, oh yeah. I know. No, for me, it's like, this is like when cell phones first came out, knocking out the background. That's like I didn't really know that was possible. Um, all right. So what what should we talk about? Because the the thing is, it makes sense because how do I explain this? Okay, you know how I was looking for content, right? And no, I was looking for. I'm multitasking too, but while I'm talking, but I was looking for a topic to do a podcast, right? And man, this motherfucker's not even paying attention to me. Yeah. What work, dude? But don't they understand? Come on, man. No, is there anything I can help you with though? Okay. All right. Is it like is it ultra disturbing to be performing a podcast while trying to do homework? Okay. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Well, well, the thing is, you know what the thing is? You know what I need? I need you to help me come up with content. Like you know when you ask me questions, like actually questions that I've never thought about, then that's a huge help. Yeah. Well, well, I was just recently self-diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome. That I've read all the now that I've Googled it. Self-diagnosed. It's the best way to diagnose things because who knows yourself best than yourself? Yeah. I mean, that's kind of a joke, is one of those autistic jokes, but maybe it's just one of those dry jokes. Like, how do I? Here's the thing. Like, I think the reason that Asperger's is it Asperger's or is it? I don't know how to pronounce this shit, man. Okay, the reason it's very hard to diagnose is because like a lot of the things I see are just like characteristics, right? And then just having one of them, like I don't know, doesn't like to hang around people. I mean, that's a characteristic of an introvert, right? But it's just one of a list Okay, so each one taken by itself is not that big of a deal if you just have that one thing. Okay, one of them is like you don't really like understand the emotions of other people. Well, then a lot of people don't. A lot of people are just retarded. I mean, sorry to say other things that might offend people, but a lot of people are just a lot of people don't have low EQ, low emotional intelligence, right? Um and so that's one of the traits that like you don't really relate with emotions in other people. But here's the weird thing, man. In some situations I'm like the genius of EQ, right? While people will tell me that in other situations, literally, now I'm not making this word up, that I'm socially retarded. Like, like I'll say things that kind of like you. No, I don't know you. I mean, like, for example, trying to bring up politics in a sales call, you just don't do that, right? Okay. Well, I don't know, man. I'm confused because you had said something that seemed like what was the person's profile? Like what? Oh. Oh, so but you didn't so you didn't mention any. Oh, so then that was a smart move. So why did I there was a miscommunication in what you were telling me. Okay. No, so you did the sociopathic thing of stalking your potential client. Okay, no. So then it's all good. Um what else, man? What else? What are we, this is episode 1. This is going to be big cuz it's the first one people are going to listen to and see. Going to see you sitting at a cafe. I mean, sitting. You know what that reminds me of? Have you seen Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? So you're like the perspective of the ant in that movie right now, right? And then to tie that in, right? Like when we're younger, we're like the perspective of the ant in the grass, right? We don't know what we don't know, and then it's just like this is the whole world or these blades of grass. Kind of like my cats. My cats, I've always thought about my cat's perspective. I always wish I could know what they're thinking, like because my cats are a few years old. No, they're my cats are 6 years old this year, and they spent their entire life on this property in the room. I mean, they when they were babies, they crawled around outside before we adopted them. Um, but within the first few months of their life, they lived inside our first apartment. Um, for 6 years, and they never left. So their entire world is a one bedroom apartment, right? That's their experience of life. And I feel like before I self-diagnosed myself with Asperger's syndrome, I feel like a cat. You know, I'm still a cat. I'm still a cat. But I'm 37. The first 37 years of my life, I feel like a cat stuck in a one-bedroom apartment. And then today, I finally stepped out of the apartment and realized, dude, what is this? There's the sun, and they're like, imagine how dumbfounded you would be when you realize that the world is actually bigger than an apartment. And then, have you ever seen the Truman Show? I mean, that's pretty much exactly what the Truman Show is. Not even the cat analogy. It's literally just watch the Truman Show, and I feel like Truman, when Truman finds out that his whole life was like this orchestrated movie. Not the same analogy, but for me it's okay, a little bit the same because you know how Truman. Have you seen the Truman Show? Oh, I just don't. We won't talk about the show then. Will you? You think you will watch the movie, or should I just should I just should I just spoil it for you? Yeah, yeah. It's very good. You probably won't. You have a lot of things that you probably. Should I just spoil it for you then? For the sake of. Okay. The show Truman Show is about. It's a reality TV show, right? Where they construct a like a Hollywood movie set, right? But this set is the size of like an entire city. So like like usually a Hollywood movie set is just like a large movie theater with a green screen, and then well, I don't know what a Hollywood. I've never been to a Hollywood movie set, but no. I mean like no, that's what I mean. Imagine Universal Studios. It's like a small neighborhood, right? Okay. It's a big facade. You go behind. It's just so imagine a Universal Studios that was actually the entire city of Los Angeles, and maybe even bigger, like to where if you're inside, you actually see the sky. They build a big dome around it. You know what I'm saying? So imagine a movie set built to like trick you into thinking that what you're seeing is real, like cars and actors and things. Just literally they build a city and everyone in the city is an actor. Okay, so you so imagine like so imagine we build Los Angeles in the middle of the freaking Sahara Desert, right? And then let's say you're sleeping one day and someone just tranquilizes you and then drops you into that city, and then everything's the same, the actors and everything, right? Except in the movie, except in the movie, they take Truman when he's a baby. So he literally grows up in this fake city for the sake for the sake of the reality show. So there's just cameras, hidden cameras everywhere, and they record him his entire life from literally baby birth to like the show was pretty ahead of its time as far as reality TV. I think the movie would actually do better right now in this day and age because people are actually familiar with reality TV and that type of camera's always on you. Like when we watched that movie, there I don't think there were like reality shows. There wasn't even like a Kim Kardashian sex tape at that point. This was like in the 90s, or right? Like yeah, right. This was before broadband. This was before I mean, this was like right when maybe, only wealthy people had cable internet. This is like I don't know, man, like this was like Counter Strike 1.0, you know. Yeah, Warcraft. I started. I was old school, man. Yeah, I played single player Warcraft 1.0, man. Yeah, I never even played Warcraft multiplayer. That's how old I am, man. I've been playing single player game. I played the original dial up modem. Like only one person could dial into the server, you know. But I mean, I'm quite a few years older than you, so I'm playing like literally, I'm playing on like when I was 12, the first computer I used to like type up things was I don't know, it had like a 20 megahertz processor. Like I don't even know. Anyways, man, it had a floppy drive and just whatever. Besides the point. My point is that Truman grows up inside this fake city, right? And then, but through his life, sometimes things happen. The elevator's not really an elevator. It's like he'll see things that are like weird because it's actually a movie. Everyone in this fucking city is an actor, bro. Okay, and then so if yeah, what do you mean the economics of it don't make sense? I'm just saying, yeah. It's like building an international space station is what I'm saying. It's a very I mean, I guess like in movies the things don't. I mean, they explain it by like, oh, maybe it was funded by the world's most wealthy billionaires. Like, yeah. What I'm saying is, either way, they were able to fund it, and maybe it's like the most watched media, so they're able to pay for it through the ads because everyone's watching. Like literally, they sell it in the show is everyone's got this on all day. You know what I'm saying? It is like the thing that everybody watches. The yeah, it's literally like it's literally like having ESPN on all day, and everyone is a sports. It's just like everyone's got their TV screen on, and then like the thing is like, I mean like that's how they do it. Like he gets his first girlfriend, and then he gets his first love, but it's all manufactured. Like they like his first wife, she's an actor. Like she's pretending to be his wife. She's pretending to get a divorce. Like it's fucking sick in the head, you know? Yeah, he finds out, he escapes or some bullshit, and then the final scene is like he breaks through the fourth wall or whatever. He fucking finds a door and then he walks out. So I mean that's the end of the movie. They kind of just leave it open ended. He walks out, and it's like it's a big thing to overcome because the small little city that he's in, it's bordered by water, okay? And then from when he was a very young boy, they traumatize him on purpose, and then like his father falls in the water and dies on a boat accident. So they engineer in him a fear of water so that he will never try to escape. So one of the themes is that he has to overcome one of his biggest fears in order to escape this fake island world that he's on, and then so in the final scene he's like swimming through the water, and then it reminds him of his trauma when he's a kid, and then he walks through the door, and that's the end of the movie as far as I remember, like 20 years ago, so but that the movie sticks with you because it's like, wow, like it's so I mean, it's unrealistic. Like you just said, the economics don't make sense. Like no one could afford to build a city and hire the actors. But how it does make sense is like they're not paying 7 million actors, right? Only the actors in his immediate vicinity need to be there. You know what I'm saying? So you actually, okay, you build the set, which is expensive, right? But you don't actually have to employ tens of thousands. You only have to employ like a few hundred people at a time to, if he's going over there, you radio, hey guys, fucking Truman's coming, get ready, like kind of like shit like that. So it actually they thought the movie through. It does make sense. Um, but yeah, I just ruined the entire movie for you, pretty much. Yeah. Don't remember. Yeah. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Yeah. Oh, are you talking about Truman? Oh yeah. Oh you're right. Utopia. Yeah, yeah. No, now I get the now. I was like, sometimes autism. I don't know. Mhm. Um, I I I bring it up. I bring it up to like a little bit draw analogies to like before as you find out your Asperger's and after you find out you're somewhere on the autism spectrum. Okay? So like before is like when I'm Truman and life not saying that like it went to dysto I mean like a little bit. I'm not really sure what to think or feel yet. My first day, like like self. I mean, and I'm open-minded too, so I leave open the possibility. I go to a doctor and they're like, "Nope, you don't. You're fine. You're normal." Because I have the perspective of this. Let's just say I do have some kind of autism spectrum disorder, and let's call it Asperger's for now. Let's just assume. Let's take that for truth for now, right? Maybe I don't. Maybe I'll find out I don't later. But assume I do, and I'm 37 years old, and a lot of people that have it, I don't know why, I'll look at the numbers, but let's just say a lot of people that have Asperger's or a lot of people that have autism or a lot of people that are on the autism spectrum disorder somewhere, right? They find out at an early age, right? Because they're have trouble in schools. There's some obvious signs of, wait, what's wrong with this kid? Is he stupid? Is he like, how come he can't learn? How come he's good at this but he can't read or whatever? And so they take him to the psychologist. He gets diagnosed, and then one thing that kind of validated what I'm thinking right now is that I have one friend. I consider him a friend. I mean, as much as someone you met online and you chat with them, you keep in touch, right? He's been diagnosed with, he's a high functioning somewhere on the autism spectrum, so Asperger's pretty much. Diagnosed at an early age, was put on medication for it. And he said, you know, people have learned more and more over the years about this. And bro, this is the only time I'll say the word disorder, because as I told you before, same with the bipolar that I think we both share, is maybe it's a philosophical thing. Maybe I'm right on this, and maybe there's other professionals that agree with me. I think very few of them do, though. In Western medicine, they call all of these things disorders, disorders that must be medicated away because something's wrong with you. And I don't believe that in that at all. I believe in that, like, look, man, and I'm going to use the word God, even though I don't believe in God, just to say, like, dude, you were created a certain way, and maybe it's unfortunate that the way you are doesn't mesh well in society. But I'm beyond even coming close to calling anybody a fucking disorder, okay? Let's take a mentally handicapped person. Do they have it? No, they're just mentally handicapped. They're the way they are. And we do our best to help them have a good life experience, and they do their best to have a good life experience. Why do some things get called disorders and some things no? It's bullshit to me. Their labels are labels. People are the way they are, and some people will require strong medications in order to function and have a fulfilled life. I don't 100% disagree with medication. I about like 95% disagree with medication, meaning maybe I'll crunch some numbers and come up with a different number, but I have this just firm philosophical belief that like 95% of the people that are diagnosed with these disorders, like they don't need the medication. What they need is a better placement in society. The problem, bro, is society. The problem is that, like, literally, I mean, I just read this online, but literally trying to fit like a whatever the term is, fitting a round peg in a square hole, or a square peg in a round box. I'm butchering the fucking quote right now, but you get what I'm saying, all right? Like, literally, like, the problem is trying to fit things together that aren't supposed to fit. Like, you got like a screw you're trying to unscrew from the wall, and it has the fucking cross thing, right? No, that's not the right word. The thing has the flat slit through the screw thing, right? And so you're supposed to use the flathead screwdriver, but you grab your Phillips one that has the pointy end, and you're trying to unscrew the screw that has the flathead, that you're supposed to use the flathead, but you're using the screw. Yeah, that's kind of like trying to put a person with my or your disposition in fucking jobs that we both hate. Okay? And then there's I don't want to say no jobs. There's literally like this amount of jobs that fit our disposition. Now, see, you see what I just did there? I refer to our things as having a disposition, okay? It's a disposition, not a disease. It's a disposition, not a disorder, all right? It's like you're a certain way, you see the world a certain way, so you laugh at certain things, okay? Certain things make you happy, certain things make you sad. You don't like certain things. You don't like to be touched a certain way. You don't like certain sounds. You know, you can only stand doing certain things for a certain amount of time. And these are dispositions, that your experience of life, right? And, you know, I'm not reading off a script. This is just like how I think about the world. All right. So certain people have certain dispositions. And the problem is that we don't have a place for people like you and I, or people like us, or people with bipolar, or people with autism, or people with Asperger's, or anywhere on the spectrum. The problem is society. And the problem is society has not found a way. And it's nobody's fault specifically, but once I'm telling you this, and I know this, and it's our fault for not sharing it. Okay, not trying to bring awareness to people would say, "Oh, bring awareness to the disorder. Bring awareness to no. I'm bringing awareness to your dumb fucking asses who just don't understand that it's not a disorder meant to be. It's like saying gay is a disorder. It's like saying homosexuality is a disorder that I need to give you medication so you better fit into society. It would be about as retarded as that statement, okay? Imagine how fucking retarded that statement sounds. Oh, you're gay? Let's give you anti-gay medicine. It's gonna make your dick hard when you see a woman. All right? Of course they did, cause they're whatever you bad word you want to call them, bro. Okay? Like you are what you are. Okay? If you like men, you like women. Okay, you're that way. And the problem is society just not and then but now those statements make sense now what I'm saying, right? But 30 years ago, 40 years, imagine I'm the guy saying no, this guy has no problem, he doesn't need drugs. It's you guys that are a problem. It's the society. You don't have a place for him. West Hollywood hasn't been invented yet. San Francisco hasn't been. Well, San Francisco's there, but it just, you get what I'm saying, right? The gay community has not fucking blown up yet. And then so it's society's fucking problem that the gay guy has to stay in the closet, isn't uncomfortable, he has depression, maybe they hang themselves because I feel passionately about this, man. That's why I'm doing this podcast, because I really believe that I went through my entire life without a not I mean maybe it wouldn't I actually am very fortunate in my eyes, because okay, let's say again, assuming that I do have Asperger's, right? And I found out at 37 years old, right? Going through life feeling that I wasn't normal, feeling that I didn't fit in, has forced me to develop just a lot of skills, you know? Like, how, have you seen The Rain Man with Dustin Hoffman? I mean, dude, seeing a meme of a movie is not the same thing as seeing the movie and understanding the movie. Yeah, we should rent out the movie theater and invite our closest friends, because that's why you would raise money for, is to do things like movie night, like, hey man, hey Mr. Investor, man, we need. He's like, how much do you need? 50,000, 100,000. I don't know, like $50. That would help us. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like we already raised 250. We just need $50 to complete the. That's not the level of raising money in my head. I didn't like. We don't need big money to do the big things we want to do. Like, I don't have to pay nothing to get a podcast on Spotify and YouTube. I just bandwidth's already being paid for. Internet's paid for. All right, you upload that shit. They host it for free. 20 years ago. You know how much it would cost to host gigabytes? Like, you have to be a goddamn university to be able to upload gigabytes into the cloud and then stream video to the world, man. You'd have to be a government or university. And now any Yahoo with the software and a click at the fucking cafe can knock out his background and look like he's in the middle of a field of grass. Right? What? And the strange thing is that, like, I've been alive to see such exponential advancement in technology, to where, like when I was a kid, like, video editing, I mean, when I say kid, I'm like teenager, late teens, like, only your, like, ultra nerds could, like, fuck around with video, right? And not even your ultra nerds. You had to be a nerd with wealthy parents. So you had to have two things that were really rare to fuck with video when I was in high school, which is at like the mid to late 90s, okay? Is that you had to be a nerd to even be interested enough, and like, cause like if you were a poor nerd, you were fucking around with shit like robots and like little electric cars and shit, right? But if you were a nerd with rich parents, like Mark Zuckerberg, right? Yeah, you can do some shit with those. So it's like even if you were a genius nerd, it's like you still have to be lucky enough to be born into a family that can what's the right word, supplement and empower you, in a way, unlock certain things within you, kind of like, we may have done for each other, like, whoa, you unlocked my sales ability, whoa, you took me from kind of like insecure to like granddaddy dick, you know. I have this weird and this is being completely open, honest, and vulnerable, right? Like I have this weird dynamic where on one end I am like the most confident person that I'll or you'll will ever meet, and on the other end I completely like have zero faith in my own ability to do anything. It's a very weird polar dynamic. Like to be like I'm just being like, sometimes to like figure yourself out, you kind of have to just say exactly what's on your mind, which is what I just did, you know, and 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 people that and I mean like I only recently kind of became like open and vulnerable. I'm an introvert. Like I don't say shit to anybody. This is about to go public. So yeah, no, no, she's sitting right there. Yeah, 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 yeah. So she hears. Well, she can't hear you or see you right now, but yeah, she's right over there. She can hear what I'm saying. She can't hear what you're saying. Yeah, yeah. She doesn't really. I would just say she doesn't particularly approve of anything that I'm doing right now. Yeah, because I wouldn't blame her because most of the things I do don't make a. They're not very practical, let's say. So yeah, pretty much that's the story of my life. Like I'm a practical person in my daily life, in that like I don't really buy new clothes because I don't pay attention to pop culture. I don't uh I don't really I've never, well, I don't say never. When I was a kid, see, now this is goes back to my Truman Show analogy. When I was a kid, Peter, you know, I tried to fit in school, so through elementary to junior high and high school, it was like I never fit in, and I tried. Like I grew up in Arlington, Texas, which is a suburb of Dallas. So more people are familiar with like Austin and Dallas. So I just say Dallas, but I was like 20 or 30 miles out from Dallas. But anyways, a big suburb. Arlington is where the Texas Rangers play. Arlington is actually now where the Dallas Cowboys play. Our Dallas Cowboy Stadium is in Arlington. So Arlington's on the map now. Okay. So anyways, the point of my story is I grew up around a mix of races, right? There was black people, there was white people, there was actually even a decent amount of Asian people where I grew up. Mexicans, of course, just because we're close to Texas, I guess, or I mean close to Mexico, being in Texas. So just everybody. But it still felt like an outcast my whole life. So in school, right? you know, Now as an adult and knowing myself, I don't pay attention to pop culture. But when you're a kid, you try to fit in, until you kind of grow up and you kind of get past the wanting or needing. Maybe some people never actually grow out of that, and I think I feel sorry for those people that are trying to fit in. Like what's the term they use? Like the Joneses, like you're always like grass is greener on the other side, keeping up with the Joneses, right? That's where that term comes up, in that most adults never get out of that. Oh, trying to fit in, trying to keep up with the Joneses. Oh, he got a BMW, and I'm pulling up with my Toyota Corolla. It literally grass is greener on his side, so I got to buy a better lawnmower and better fertilizer for my yard. So when I'm in school, right, it's like, oh, okay, black kids are the cool ones, and they're wearing these kind of pants and they're sagging. So I'm like a chubby Asian kid, but I'm sagging and I'm trying to buy the same clothes. And story of my life for quite a while. And then in high school, I don't know about the Asian culture where you grew up, but Asians in high school, man, they were wearing the big Jinko jeans, the JNCO brand. We call them Jinkos, and we were breakdancing, trying to. But but this was with my friends, so like I had a small crew of Asian kids that, and these are still my friends to this day. But so we would try to, so the Asian culture back then was wear Jinko jeans and then try to break dance, and we were a little crew and we tried to do our breakdancing thing, and but that but the okay, so the attire we wore was like trying to fit in with everybody, right? But what we did was what we wanted to do because breakdancing was kind of fun. We actually enjoyed it. We were no good at it. We were absolutely no, but we were having fun. We were having a good time. All right. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, so those are some of the good memories of my childhood. But I mean, like, not like I had a lot of bad memories. I mean, the bullying, everyone gets bullied a little bit. I can't even say the bullying was like, everyone gets bullied a little bit here and there. You were? I've had my own. Yeah, I mean, I've been bullied. I have bullied. So maybe my bully meter evens out somehow. Maybe I did bully more than I got bullied, so I have some atonement to do, which is the reason for this podcast. Really, the impetus was that, like, when I told you before we got on the podcast, I'm like, look, man, I I've been looking for an outlet to just to create and share, okay? And then I tried Twitch for hundreds of hours, and then it felt like that it didn't feel right, because I don't know. I feel like even though Twitch is like an extroverted activity in a way because the audience matter. Right now, audience don't matter, right? I can edit this however I want. This is just literally me and you. I mean, it feels like I have an audience because I know I'm going to be posting this publicly, so that, like, yeah, I kind of have to, like, kind of feel like, but then I can cut this. I can cut things out. I probably won't cut anything out. I'm literally will be too lazy to actually go through this. I'm just gonna fucking upload whatever, man. Whatever this is, it is. Who got time to do that? We got too much to do, right? We're like you're doing homework while we're doing this, right? We're moving forward too fast to have time to edit things that don't matter. So for me, I'm a blogger. I mean, I mean, not even a blogger. I wouldn't say blogger. I'm a troll. I'm a troll. I troll for the sake of trolling. I don't try to actively hurt people. That's the thing. I'm somewhat of what you would call, and then some of these things I'm sharing with you are like telltale signs of being on the spectrum. Okay, like someone had told me, like, if yeah, like trolling online is one of those symptoms. Like, you just I don't know. Yeah, I got to get my friend on this podcast. I refer to him as Blue Bomber because that's his online tag. I don't know what his real name is. I mean, I'm sure he would have told me. He knows me as Busboy, and I know him as Blue Bomber. Okay, because my thing is Busboy. That's my online identity is Busboy. Yeah. So I don't know. Do you have like a screen name that you just use when you go online, or? Oh yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. Your IG name too, right? Hey, tell me. Hey, I'm a big fan of asking people about, like, I don't know why. That's kind of like my thing. Like when I run into people online, or when I was streaming a lot and people will come into my stream, like, one of the most interesting things, because my name has a lot of meaning to me. Some people are like, well, Michael 525. Well, that's my first name and my birthday. There's not much story behind that. Anyways, that's one of the things that I really like to do is, like, hey, tell me about, because it's not immediately obvious. Red Centurion, it's a color, and I don't know what a Centurion is, so it seems like, yeah, it has a deep meaning to it. Ah, that's how you see yourself, Centurion. Okay, and then red because you have a tan, or. Mm. Wait, so Red Centurion is like a term already? Or oh no, okay. Oh, say or read me the definition of Centurion again. Oh Oh, so a century was a group of like 100 soldiers, obviously. And then, is there a special reason why you chose that as opposed to like a higher up, leader of the phalanx of the 12,000 or whatever? But I have an idea. I have an idea. It may not be the idea. It might sound good, but that I'm just thinking about it, right? All right. No, let me give you an example, right? Like the king. Like why not are you not like the fucking golden king, right? The commander of the fucking the fucking everybody. Why aren't you the red general? Why aren't you the general that commands the entire army? Or why aren't you see? Think about that. You think that's why I'm asking you. There's some maybe because see here's the thing. Leader of the 100, right? Is like you're still on the front line in some of these battles. Right, like you just said, you're going to battle, and 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 even though like commander elicits like feelings of like oh you're commanding an army, it's still if I feel like you're still close enough to the people that you're commanding that you know them on a face to face one on one. So if you're telling someone to go fight, you're literally right behind him slashing people too. I don't know. That's just what my thought. Like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Ah, okay. Mm-hmm. I gotta watch that. No, I watch it. I know what you're talking about. I guess yeah. I think what you're saying and is matches what I was thinking is that like a commander commands respect, right? But it's not like you're so high up that like you're just fucking moving chess pieces around, right? You're actually in there like on the front lines and dying behind your men or winning with your men. So, I mean, okay. Fight Club. Oh, Troy. Yeah. All those movies are sick. Actually, just those two movies, I would say, of Brad Pitt's are sick. I mean, all his movies are good, but Fight Club was sick. Troy was sick on a visual aesthetic level. Um, but Fight Club was sick all around. Like my dream body used to be Brad Pitt in Fight Club until Troy came out. Until Troy came out, then my dream body was Brad Pitt and Troy. Okay, but before Troy came out, because you gotta remember, man, I grew up an overweight kid, so I will forever be a fat kid in my head. So, so people, you remember when we were talking about sales types and who we have a hard time closing, right? And then and my hardest sales type to close is actually you, people that require a lot of information, you know, and then perhaps even people that might not trust other people normally, right? With the like intense, but actually I have been that way. Um, I did share with you that my previous employees completely fucked me over. Like in these, and I say employees. When I say employees, I mean my friends and fraternity bros. It actually goes a little bit beyond friendship there. Yeah, I don't think you've been in a fraternity, but you know, yeah. Bros are like supposed to be your friends beyond friends. They're supposed to like get. Anyways, these are the people that fucked me over and I don't know if I want to use the word steal, but I will because that's what they did. They literally stole my company from under me. And you might think someone that went through that would have intense trust issues going forward. Maybe not in the personal arena, But in the business arena, like if you got screwed over by hiring your friends and fraternity bros in business because you didn't have any contracts in place, you were running it as a sole proprietorship, you're making lots of money. I don't think about that's why I'm very thankful to have you on the team because you think of these things. And I had a feeling about you. I bet on it. I don't require a lot of information to make a decision. You require massive amounts. I didn't know this extremely. I had a feeling based on our interactions. So I just said, you know what? It just feels good. Boom. But you could see that like the decisions I make are impulsive and they could be huge mistakes, right? But I make them, that's my personality. I like to say I'm a hard sell, but for some people, I'm the easiest person to sell. For some people, you tickle my senses, you show me something I like, you make it smell good, you make it look good. I'm ready to fucking sign on the dotted line. It could be a big Hollywood facade, right? Just tying things that we were talking about earlier together. You could be showing me a big Hollywood facade, and I wouldn't even walk behind there to look if it's a facade. Not only will Peter walk behind there and look, Peter will drive all the way to the edge of Truman's map until Peter can go no further to make sure that he's not stuck in a Truman's world, right? I'm not even joking, drawing the analogy about our different ways of selling and being sold. Okay, I will, if I feel like I like something and I feel like for me, let me explain to you my mindset. I don't know if you already know this about me, but my mindset is, all right, look, all right, like you're either going to say yes or no. Okay, you only have two decisions in a sale, yes or no, right? If you say no, I think your mindset is something like, well, I can say yes later, right? The deal will be there. So um so if your mindset is, well, if I can say yes tomorrow, wouldn't it be more practical to just do a little bit more due diligence because the deal's still going to be there? So it might make more sense to, I don't know, I'm just trying to think how people like you think because I don't think that way. I try to put myself in your shoes. And because I try to put myself in, one of the things on the autism spectrum symptom sheet says that like that people with the Asperger's have an inability or great difficulty with um, empathy and knowing how someone else feels. And so I have a big problem with that because I don't know if that fits me very well. But the thing is, like, I used to be a lot more socially inept, and it's like kind of like a learned skill. It's kind of like me literally trying very hard to put myself in your shoes, and then I know that like my thoughts and feelings about things aren't the same, but then I try to be like, all right, well, where is this guy coming? It's very difficult, right? But I think I've developed a really good sense of like doing it so that when I read that part of the autism Asperger's list, it doesn't fit me quite well. Because in some situation, like say for sales example, right? Or like when I'm focused on a human being in front of me and I'm looking at them, when I connect with someone, then I feel like I feel exactly how they feel, right? But in other situations, I have no idea what anybody's feeling. But in some situations, I can know what everybody's feeling. But in other situations, I'll say things that like dude, did you know you just like said something very like politically incorrect? And I'm like, well, who cares? But like I may have just offended everybody in the room and destroyed future business opportunities and made myself look like a fool. And it because I don't care. In other situations, I'll know exactly how to maneuver. Because in sales, I care about the close, so I care a lot about how my prospect is feeling. So I try to tune in. I don't really know how to explain myself except for to explain because, hey, man, this is the Autism Podcast, and you're hearing the perspective of a guy that just found out that he has Asperger's, so wouldn't know how else to put it. Okay, what's it called? Happy Hikers, and how do we find for everyone who's listening from maybe the Los Angeles or Orange County area? how would you go about finding Happy Hikers other than Googling it or typing it into a Facebook search? Okay. Is it just Happy Hikers on Instagram? Does anybody take that already? Oh, okay. Okay, so that's your actual Instagram tag. Is there a space? Is there a underscore? All right, well, to thank you for being on the show and for being my first guest on the Autism podcast, I'm gonna give you a shout out for whatever that's worth. Happy Hikers 2020. It would be Instagram.com/Happy Hikers 2020, or just go to Instagram and search Happy Hikers 2020. Make sure you don't follow the fake Happy Hikers because they're the fake ones and they'll probably take your money and steal. And who knows what they're going to do with you in the woods once they get you up there, okay? Make sure you're following the right one. Happy Hikers 2020. Why? Because 2020 is a shitty year and a lot of things happen. I don't know, man. Why did you call it 2020? Besides the point that the Happy Hikers was already taken. A huge recession, like the biggest recession the world has ever seen. Oh, oh, bro, I didn't get that one part of it. Wow, wow. Oh, what? Cause I value my life. No, I'm just kidding. So what you're saying, Peter, is that you've given new meaning to the phrase "go jump off a cliff," in a sense, literally. Like you say, "Hey, we're gonna go jump off a cliff." I mean, it of the cliffs. I mean, we're talking about like something that like you could land on your feet and absorb the jump, right? If you had to. Yeah. Oh no, you could die off a 15-foot cliff though. That's like a two-story house, bro. If you land the wrong way off a two-story house, you break your neck. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You just happen to hit the you just happen to what are you? I'm just saying. Yeah, where there were you to go head first, and then it's like shallow right there. How do you make sure that like there's no like rock stalactite, whatever ones come out of the ground and go straight up. Like just some big spiky spike shaped rock that like you just go and it just shit goes through your eye and out the back. Not to scare anyone from doing it. Actually, I am just trying to scare people away because I don't know. No, I would do it. I would do it. I ride a motorcycle. I mean, I'm just fucking around. I'm not opposed to these. Actually, I wouldn't because I don't think my girlfriend would allow me to do it. She would. Okay, I think this is what I could get away with. In all seriousness, Peter, I could get away with being the videographer of the event if I were to promise to stay 12 feet away from everybody. And that's what I think I will be doing for you. But she has a big problem with me unnecessarily exposing us and potential future family and existing family to COVID, you know? So, so I think it's a valid feeling from her, but I think she also should kind of compromise if I'm, because it's like, uh, I have a lot of right wing and left wing viewpoints, conservative, liberal, whatever you want to call them. Democrats just want to keep everything shut down forever. Republicans don't really believe COVID is a thing. I'm exaggerating here, okay? No one really thinks really one way or the other. I'm kind of painting the picture that like in certain on certain matters, I'll hold right wing or conservative views, which I'm more the risk taker personality. So I'm more like I feel like I'm a very practical personality, right? So I'm saying like I think this COVID's gonna be here for a long time. And when I say long, I'm saying like at least a couple years, if not longer, 5, 10 years maybe, right? So I don't rule that out. I don't rule out a vaccine tomorrow either, but I think reasonably we have to plan that this thing is gonna be here for a while, right? So with that in mind, there's some things that we could do. We should be comfortable with doing. We should be comfortable with going to the grocery store. Maybe we don't want to go every day. For sure we protect ourselves with washing our hands and wearing a face mask. Um, but maybe we reduce our frequency, right? But we don't just stop going places. We don't just like wait for COVID to go away because we have to think that, hey, man, this thing is going to be here for a while. Are we going to just not be happy and stop having fun? Are we just going to stop doing things for fun completely? Like, or do we just do it in a more diligent manner? We do things and we try to be as safe as possible, right? But we don't just completely, because I think if we go to either extreme, right? If we go the extreme, if we do what Trump did and just pretended like the shit didn't exist and just not wearing a mask when you have COVID, you're gonna get everybody around you sick when someone has it. So that's a bad extreme, to just like pretend like the fucking thing isn't here. But if you also just refuse to go out ever, I think you're gonna go insane and you're gonna get depressed, right? So there's gotta be some kind of compromise where there's still some things that you choose to do. Maybe you don't do them as often as you used to do. Maybe you don't do things like go to a crowded club where people are dancing. Maybe some of these things have to be off limits, or maybe there's like a different way to do it now. I don't know. Maybe you only allow a certain amount of people in the club, and maybe you do still wear a mask in the club. For some people, they'll gain. The aesthetically not so appealing people might gain. That's a goddamn joke. Laugh, motherfucker. Okay. Peter's not even listening. But you know what? You know what I have now? I could be a comedian, right? Right? And if nobody laughs at my jokes, I can just pull the autism card. I could just, I'm Asperger's. And then people will start laughing. Here comes my stand-up comedy career. Which one is Kai, dude? Bro, you have introduced me to Kaiser. Yeah, yeah. You say Kai. I don't know Kai is Kaiser. And we should make tomorrow's meeting the podcast, right? Is it tomorrow? Is tomorrow already here? Oh my god. And anyways, man, that brings up a good point. The point is that the hour's coming up. Didn't think we could get an hour's worth of content for the first podcast, but we did. And let's give Kaiser a shout out before we actually officially meet this dude. Kaiser Nguyen, right? Kaiser Nguyen is a comedian. I've seen one of his skits, which it was very funny, to where I was like, he's a comedian. But I mean, like, yeah, he identifies as a comedian, but it's like, you looked at his LinkedIn, comedian is like just something like he does in his free time, and he's had great success at it. What's his website again? Like something to do with pho, or like Viet for faux life. Yeah, I think his website is actually it's something like it. I love pho too. Pho is actually one of my favorite foods. No. Actually, let me repeat. Pho is not one of my favorite foods. It is my favorite food in the absolute world, bro. I am a pho connoisseur. If there were if there was if there was a job called pho connoisseur, I would apply to that and I would work for half of minimum wage. I would be a pho connoisseur for free. I would. They have pho restaurants called like Pho King. You know, back in Texas they did. Yeah, like the Pho King. And then in Culver City 10 years ago, I don't know if it's still there. They had a pho place near where I lived in Culver City called Pho Show, SHOW, Pho Show. Geniuses, man. They were ahead of their time. No one really went there. I was like their biggest supporter. I would go there. I'm the one that single-handedly kept them in business in 2010. Faux show. Yeah, when I moved away, I think they closed down because they lost like half their revenue when I moved away, bro. That's a joke. It's not. That's not a very funny joke though. But it's true. I was like, that's like when Twitter first came out. Really? No, I mean, like, no, Twitter's been out for a while, but in 2000, like, I followed them on Twitter, even though they didn't know how to put out a goddamn tweet to say. They would tweet about the dumbest shit, like, I don't know. Anyways, all right, man. Peace out. Happy hikers. Check out Kaiser Nguyen. Check out Viet Pho Life. I don't even know what his URL actually is, but off my memory, it was like Viet Pho 4, the number 4 Life, Lyfe, I don't know. Kaiser Nguyen, comedian. Check him out. We're going to meet him tomorrow on the show. And Peter, the leader of the hikers. I don't know. So half of that rhymed, half of it didn't. I ain't no leader. No, no, no. You know what I lead? I lead the biggest autism-based podcast on Spotify is about all I lead. Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.